Terrence Howard recently made headlines after hinting that Diddy once crossed a line with him, and now reports suggest he's facing threats for speaking out. For years, Terrence has quietly dropped clues about what really happens at those exclusive Diddy gatherings. But with new investigations putting Diddy back in the spotlight, Howard seems done staying silent. His recent appearance on Real Time with Bill Maher caught attention when, after a light joke about rappers' real names, Terrence delivered a sharp line that changed the mood instantly. They're not so tough when you catch them at a puffy party. A quick remark, but one that said far more than it seemed.
Speak against me and use the same courage that it took for me to say those truths. Man to man, eye to eye, integrity and in truth. I've spent a lifetime earning the right to speak with the conviction about these truths that I speak. So if you want to tear that down, have the decency to come and say it directly to my face. And say it like...
When Terrence Howard made that remark, it wasn't just a punchline, it was a glimpse behind the curtain of an industry built on image. He hinted that much of hip-hop's tough persona is a performance, suggesting that fame sometimes comes with the quiet sacrifice of authenticity. In his view, a few well-known figures have blurred those lines, trading integrity for access and influence, especially at Diddy's exclusive events. Terrence also recounted an unusual personal experience, what was supposed to be an acting session with Diddy that quickly turned uncomfortable. There was no script, no plan, and no clear purpose, only an uneasy silence that left him wondering what the real intention behind the meeting truly was.
You ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music, and he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing. And I've lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit because the man card means everything.
It's important to note that many of the figures connected to these circles aren't just entertainers, they're powerful voices with political TIs, social influence, and deep connections to elite networks. Terrence posed a daring question: does Diddy hold any kind of leverage over them? With growing talk of private moments allegedly being recorded at exclusive gatherings, it's no surprise that some might now feel uneasy about what could come to light. Since sharing his story, Terrence says he's been met with pushback and quiet pressure from within the industry. But instead of retreating, he's taken a firm stance, publicly challenging anyone with concerns to meet him face to face and speak openly, rather than hiding behind silence.
Can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in. no matter what.
That this revelation isn't exactly new. 50 Cent has been hinting at Diddy's questionable behavior for years. While many once dismissed his comments as jokes or rivalry-driven banter, it's now clear he may have been one of the first to spot the red flags. 50 has repeatedly explained why he kept his distance from Diddy's exclusive gatherings, saying there was always an unsettling energy that didn't sit right with him. In one interview, he recalled nearly walking out of a wedding after an encounter that crossed personal boundaries, describing the moment as deeply uncomfortable. And then came his now iconic jab: Diddy wasn't in the closet. He was in the hallway, a line that, in hindsight, carried more weight than most realized.
Listen, before y'all talk about me, y'all need to talk to me. You see, once upon a time, if a man questioned another man's honor, he didn't do it from the shadows. He had to do it out in the open, with his name, his chest out, and his chin high. Not hiding behind the keyboard or tucked behind editing clips of fair use disclaimers. You see, citing Section 107 of the Copyright Act does not give you free rein to defame, misrepresent, or harm another's reputation. Fair use is not a shield for character assassination. So here's the simple truth. If you take my words, my image, my ideas, and twist them to feed your fear and inflate your ego, if you profit off of my name while calling me a liar, then be prepared to stand behind your
allegations. Continue to surface against Sean Diddy Combs. An old video of him has reemerged online, and it's sparking serious conversation. In the clip, Diddy films himself during one of his famous house parties and makes a comment that's left viewers uneasy. Nat, move out the way, you're still alive. Moments later, he jokes about putting a DJ to sleep, a remark that quickly set social media on fire with speculation. What's most disturbing is that this wasn't hidden or leaked footage. It was recorded and shared by Diddy himself. The casual tone and setting make it seem as though he viewed the moment as entertainment, adding another layer of concern to an already troubling narrative.
You gotta take drugs. You're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're gonna go too far, you know? Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they gotta keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head, you know, but when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it. A man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So
twin. You line up all the unsettling stories from Terrence Howard's warnings to 50 Cent's long-standing suspicions and Jaguar Wright's explosive statements, a disturbing question begins to form. What was really happening at these gatherings, and how deep does it go? Many remember the glitz and glamour of Diddy's high-profile events, where stars like Jay-Z, Pharrell, and Kanye West were regulars. But new claims suggest there may have been far more behind the scenes than anyone realized. Recently, footage has reportedly surfaced showing Diddy throwing one of his notorious parties at his former New York mansion this time. allegedly in honor of former President Barack Obama. Guests were said to be greeted by a massive poster of Obama while dancers performed nearby, creating what witnesses described as an oddly unsettling tribute. Adding to the intrigue, political commentator Roland Martin was reportedly seen alongside Diddy in the same footage, a detail that's only intensified public speculation about what really went on that night.
Like each other business-wise for a long time.
Well, that's why it's only business. It was really, away from that, I explained why I didn't hang out with him, right? Because it's a little fluffy stuff going on.
It's not your scene.
It's not my style.
Not your scene.
They hug you from the front and the back at the same time. I got uncomfortable with him because the way he was acting to try and get me to hang out with him was like, yo, I'll take you shopping. Like, and I'm like, what you mean? Like, that's something you say to a woman you're attracted to, maybe.
Right.
It's just weird, bro. Like, and now you start to see a lot of the weird stuff that was there. It looks like it all lines up, don't it? It was not in the closet. It was in front of you and you wasn't seeing it because you see the beards. Or you see the girls. So you didn't look at them the way it actually is to a degree. No, like, and when I say people respond, how people respond to things matter, like the internet will take to it and just go off with it. Meek responds being the uncomfortability. He goes, yo, I'll spend $100,000 to find out why my name is in this like this. And it's in it only because he's uncomfortable.
More clips and insider details are rumored to be on the way, with sources suggesting that even higher profile names could be linked to these mysterious gatherings. Reports hint at connections reaching far beyond the music industry, potentially involving political figures, corporate executives, and media power players who may have all moved within the same inner circles Diddy helped cultivate. If these claims hold any truth, this isn't just another wave of celebrity controversy. It could point to something much bigger. The implications touch on influence, control, and the murky intersections of fame and power. One question now looms large. Why was a party allegedly hosted in honor of a U.S. president? And who else was there? As Terrence Howard, 50 Cent, and others continue to speak out, the pressure to uncover what really happened behind those closed doors is only intensifying.
When he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, now Meek is in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not Photoshop. Stop it, man. You set that up. Look, obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. Guys may say to a girl, you know, like, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
What do you think's happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on there. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, you know, like hang out.
Yeah.
She said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm going to mess up the way. Certain things, they let it go by because it's puff. He wasn't like in the closet. He was like in the hallway.
All these years, you being the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
You're a hater.
You're a hater. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting.
Around Diddy's parties continues to intensify and new details come to light. A few well-known figures are finally stepping forward to speak their truth. One of them is Terry Crews, celebrated for his work in both comedy and action films and respected for his willingness to challenge the hidden power dynamics of Hollywood. Now, Crews is once again using his voice with purpose, addressing what he's seen and experienced firsthand. His decision to speak out feels both courageous and overdue, marking another powerful moment in a growing wave of celebrity accountability.
When Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
He didn't show up.
He had like 20 now. He had like 18 since he's been down. He had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
He was one. He got them shits. He's like drinking. His pictures went fucking things the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Jay-Z's career, you can look at that and say the association to Beyonce
is when he started to receive the 16 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce. Right? And you go, prior to that, 1.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see that the kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing.
Right.
They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys and shit. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them.
Terrence Howard's claims about Diddy's disturbing behavior have sent ripples through the entertainment world, forcing many to question just how deep Diddy's influence truly ran. What's emerging now suggests his control may not have been limited to physical encounters but extended into psychological manipulation as well. The idea that he used his power to corner and control rising stars no longer feels like rumor. It's beginning to sound like a pattern. As Howard's revelations continue to make waves, others within the industry are stepping up to share their perspectives. Figures like Big Homie Double C have started weighing in, adding their voices to a growing chorus demanding accountability and transparency in a world that has long thrived on silence.